The West needed the rain, but for some people the rain was just too much.
Yeah, in Wickenburg, the storms caused chaos, destroyed homes, washed away cars. The rain even shut down a popular interstate at one point. And what's more, there's a chance more rain could be on the way.
So even more on our forecast in just a moment. But first, damage in Wickenburg, homes overtaken by the rushing waters.
Yeah, we have team coverage tonight, starting with Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins live in Wickenburg. And Amber, you've been covering this all weekend. You watched this entire thing unfold live on the air.
Yeah, it was incredible. Saturday night I was working when we had the chopper up over Wickenburg. We saw all of the water rushing through this part of the city. You know, I talked to some of the homeowners here today. The person in this house behind me here is not home, but his sister-in-law is helping to take care of stuff, and she is from out of town. She's just visiting, and I showed her. I played the Air 15 video on my cell phone for her to look at for the very first time, and the look on her face was just, she was stunned. She's like, oh my gosh, that was what was happening out here. I mean, it was incredible to see the images for the first time of all the water coming through. And now here's what's left. Most of the water has dried out. We still have a few areas, a few streets where there's still ponding like this, still some mud, but a lot of these areas have been baking under the intense sunshine for the last couple of days. And so we got a lot of front yards around here just completely filled with sand. They've turned into sand dunes because they brought out the trucks, they've moved the mud is dried out. It's now just, it's beachfront property, the kind you don't want around this area. Now, we've also had our reporters out here since this happened. Nick Van Sant has been out here for the last couple of days. He's seen it all. And Nick, you were out here again talking to homeowners today, and more stories of just complete sadness.
Yeah, because they just lost so much. And you saw some of this damage that's right behind me. The water just seems to have taken everything away. And when you look at it and you talk to people, right when they think they have one thing cleaned up, they just find more of a mess. And really, we're seeing that this damage from this starts about 20 miles out of town, south of here, near Morristown, where there's about a 3 or 4 mile stretch of just downed power poles. APS has been working ever since Saturday night to try and get those up. They are still out there working right now. They also found that there's a train track that goes through Wickenburg that has been damaged, and that's why you're seeing trains that are essentially just stalled outside of town waiting for those tracks to be fixed. The biggest problem in terms of cleaning up all of this mess, though, is the roads. Some of them are just still filled with mud. Some have been ruined, and that's why city officials say right now that is their biggest priority.
Where we still have quite a bit of dirt and debris on the roads, and so we have crews actively removing that and then trying to work with residents to see what assistance we can offer.
The reason that's really their first priority is because if they can get all of those roads clear, then they can help facilitate really the entire cleanup process. We talked with residents, Amber, though, and they say one of the problems that they're seeing is, yeah, you're making the roads the top priority, but if you would have had a priority on the wash, this wouldn't have happened again because it happened at the same time last year. We're working on that story. We'll have more on that coming up.
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, I was talking to some of the meteorologists at the National Weather Service at the Flood Control District. They were saying the amount of rainfall that fell over this area, we're talking 4.5 inches in an hour in some spots, that the likelihood of that happening in any given year is 0.005%, a 1 in 200 chance of that happening in any given year. And they're calling this a 1,000-year flood event. I mean, it's just really incredible what took place here on Saturday night. And we are in Wickenburg all evening. We'll have more updates on the cleanup going on right now here in